Hi all, my name is Liv White, and today I'll be analyzing the environmental impact statement made by Acadia National Park regarding their 2019 park transportation plan. Established in 1916 by George Buckingham Dorr, Charles W. Eliot, and John D. Rockefeller, Acadia National Park covers about 35,000 acres in Hancock and Knox counties along the midsection of the Maine coast. Acadia is one of the most popular national parks in the United States, attracting roughly 3.5 million visitors annually. The number of visitors to Acadia has been significantly multiplying each year. Between 2007 and 2017, the park saw a 59% increase in patrons. Most visitation occurs from June to October. The most popular park destinations include Cadillac Mountain, Jordan Pond, and the Ocean Drive corridor. Recreational park activities include hiking, biking, canoeing, sea kayaking, camping, and walking on historic carriage trails while enjoying the natural scenery. The regular increase in visitation each year reveals the growing popularity of Acadia. Most visitors arrive via motor vehicle and must utilize the historic roads of the park to access their desired destinations. Acadia's transportation infrastructure was constructed in the early 20th century and consists of narrow, twisting historic roads and low, narrow historic bridges that were designed for automobile types, speeds, and volumes different than those of today. Furthermore, the number of parking spaces at the park have proven insufficient to meet visitor demand. Increased automobile traffic volumes and speeds on historic roads, combined with over 3.5 million visits in a short, concentrated season, have created resource protection concerns, safety issues, and adverse impacts to the visitor enjoyment of the park. The purpose of the transportation plan is to outline a comprehensive approach to providing safe and efficient transportation to visitors to Acadia National Park while ensuring that the park resources and values are protected and the visitors are able to enjoy a variety of high-quality experiences. Through the planning process, current and potential visitor transportation, as well as long-term strategies for providing access, are examined. The environmental impact statement for Acadia National Park's transportation plan was compiled and funded by the National Park Service. No specific persons within the National Park Service were named as overseers of the assessment. The estimated lead agency total costs associated with developing and producing the environmental impact statement is $690,000. The EIS has been prepared in accordance with the National Environmental Policy Act of 1969, regulations of the Council on Environmental Quality, the National Park Service Director's Order 12, and the Park Service's 2015 NEPA Handbook. Additionally, the planning process for the transportation plan is consistent with guidance developed by the Interagency Visitor Use Management Council. The National Park's proposed action plan to manage parking-related congestion and crowding is a timed entry reservation system for the Ocean Drive corridor, Cadillac Summit Road, and the Jordan Pond House North Lot during the peak season. During the initial implementation of this plan, other Acadia parking lots would continue to operate on a first-come, first-served basis. Traffic and resource conditions would continue to be monitored by park rangers. If monitoring indicates traffic or resource conditions worsening beyond acceptable thresholds, access to bus routes entering the park, vehicle access to other parking lots, or vehicle access to the entire Park Loop Road, which is the main system of the park, may be added to the reservation system. The implementation of a park-wide reservation system would require the reconfiguration of some existing park entrances, like the one you see here, to exit only, the construction of new entrance stations, and the potential of making the entire main park road a one-way. I personally believe this proposed action is going to be the most cost-effective and least environmentally harmful solution to Acadia's growing transportation issue. Monitoring traffic and potential harm to park resources will be key in ensuring the success of the proposed action. There are already examples of other popular national parks in the United States successfully implementing such traffic solutions, among them being Arches in Zion in Utah, Glacier in Montana, Rocky Mountain in Colorado, and Yosemite in California. The National Park Service identified 3 action alternatives and a no-action alternative for transportation management in the park. The action alternatives all include variations on a reservation system that would involve fees designed to support plan actions. Strategies outlined in each alternative include analyses of reservation systems, visitor capacities, public transit, visitor information, orientation, enforcement and safety, management of other park attractions and trailheads, vehicle size requirements, and commercial visitor services. Scoping was conducted by the National Park Service Scoping was conducted by the National Park Service to confirm the purpose of and need for the project, identifying management alternatives, and identifying issues relevant to the analysis of said alternatives. Scoping was conducted in coordination with federal, state, and local agencies with jurisdiction by law or special expertise, non-governmental entities, interested parties, and the general public. The scoping process identified several issues associated with Acadia's transportation management. These issues include changes to visitor access and use patterns, protection of historic resources and historic character, and changes to commercial and local use in the local and regional economy. I believe the National Park Service's scoping process to be comprehensive and relevant to the issue of transportation in Acadia. The involvement of interested public and private entities in the scoping process is highlighted and their concerns addressed. Furthermore, the Park Service compiled a practical best management policy and mitigation measures for everyday management of Acadia's transportation system and measures to minimize potential adverse impacts. Public participation began early in the planning process and continued throughout the creation of the transportation plans and alternatives in Acadia. The National Park Service describes public input regarding the future of transportation in Acadia as instrumental in the subsequent creation of a range of preliminary concepts. In August of 2015, the Park Service published a notice of intent to develop a transportation plan and environmental impact statement for Acadia National Park and requested the public comment. Subsequent newsletters were published and shared via email and print to inform the public of public scoping efforts. Social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram were utilized during the scoping period to inform people about the planning efforts. 2 public house open events, alongside 6 in-person public outreach sessions, were held to receive comments related to the transportation plan. Approximately 192 people attended in-person outreach events in 2015. Visitors were encouraged to submit further comments via mail or email. An online service for public comment regarding the project was made available and advertised via social media, email, a press release, and electronic newsletters. Around 61%, the majority of public comments submitted during the scoping period were from Maine, but comments were also received from across the country. Public involvement in the planning process continued from 2016 to 2018 during the preliminary concepts phase and during the drafting of the environmental impact statement. Notably, input was received from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, National Marine Fisheries Service, and Maine Historic Preservation Commission regarding the proposed and alternative transportation actions. The National Park Service's commitment to public involvement is made evident through their efforts to make public comment accessible and their continued requests for input from a wide range of individuals. In coordination with public input, several potential social and environmental consequences surrounding the proposed transportation action and alternatives were identified. For each alternative evaluated in an environmental impact statement, the National Park Service must consider the following: any adverse environmental effects that cannot be avoided should the proposal be implemented, the relationship between short-term uses of human environment and the maintenance and enhancement of long-term productivity, and any irreversible or irretrievable commitments of resources that would be involved in the proposal should it be implemented. The most significant consequences identified relate to the historical character, integrity of the park, and the visitor experience. Infrastructure to control the proposed reservation system, improve traffic and parking flow, represent negative impacts that diminish the historic character of the main road because they introduce modern infrastructure to the historic scene of the road and cause breaks in the free-flowing design intent of the road. So we see here in this image an example of an entrance station and a parking reservation system monitoring system. And this is what the actual main carriage roads look like. You can see how that modern infrastructure is really breaking up the historic character of the park. The inability of visitors to experience the historical road as it was intended may cause a decrease in the value of the visitor experience. Additional signage to inform visitors of reservation-only entrances would also count as modern intrusions in a historic landscape that detract from the previous historic character of the road. A potential mitigation strategy for these signs would be the provision of signage information in an online space like the National Parks website. To maintain the integrity of free-flowing historic roads, a potential solution would be the elimination of right lane parking, which would also aid in the reduction of cars blocking natural scenery. These potential environmental and social consequences of the implementation of the proposed transportation plan in Acadia seem logical and manageable through continuous monitoring. To monitor the potential successes and detriments of the proposed transportation plan, the Interagency Visitor Use Management Council, now known as the Council, established a visitor use management framework, including elements by which planning decisions are made regarding visitor use management. Indicators and thresholds were developed to measure conditions related to visitor use, and monitoring will be conducted to track conditions over time. Visitor use management is an iterative process in which management decisions are continuously informed and improved through monitoring to determine the most effective way to manage visitor use to attain desired visitor experience and resource conditions. Instituting a visitor management framework, including monitoring indicators and taking adaptive management actions if thresholds are exceeded, like the ones we see on the screen now, would have a beneficial effect in the long term, reducing the extent and frequency of overcrowding in current and future popular areas of the park, and ensuring opportunity for visitors to experience quiet, low-use areas of the park. My analysis of the 2019 proposed transportation plan by Acadia National Park found a comprehensive, easy-to-understand document that reasonably outlines potential social and environmental concerns and mitigation strategies, relying heavily on public involvement in all planning and stages. I would rate this environmental impact statement as an A+, and I hope to go back to Acadia soon. Thanks.